Good evening. Continuation of the lecture series on signals and systems. In the previous lecture, we were discussing about the classification of systems, and today we are going to discuss about analog and digital signals. Analog signal is the one which is similar to that of a continuous time signal. This is one kind of category in continuous time signal. Analog signal is the signal which is continuous over the period of time. The value of analog signal or the magnitude of any analog signal can be determined at any instant of time. It is continuous and it is smooth over the time axis. Right. Analog and digital signals are the two major fundamental concepts of electronics and communication in engineering. The analog signals are the one which is continuous in nature, and the waveform is also continuous over the continuous period of time. The magnitude of the signal can be determined at any instant of time, whereas the digital signal are not continuous and it is represented only with the two binary levels, high and low, and they are nothing but in the form of zeros and ones. Characteristics of analog signal. Analog signals, as discussed, it is continuous in nature and also it can take any value over the period of time, and it forms a smooth curve within the given range. It occupies a wide range of frequencies. They are often used in communication like audio system, video transmission, and also various kinds of sensing applications. Analog signal always has continuous values. They can have any value within the specified range. There is no restriction for any frequency range. It can take any value. As like a discrete signal or digital signals, there is no restrictions in the use of the bandwidth. Another parameter is wide frequency range. This analog signal does not have any frequency restrictions. Therefore, it could able to cover wider frequency range. But due to this wide nature, it is prone to noise. It can carry any kind of complex information during the time of transmission. Because of this wide frequency range, it is susceptible to noise elements. Therefore, the outcome of this analog signal is also with noise. That's what we have been discussing now. It is susceptible to noise since it is continuous and it occupies wide frequency range. They are easily corrupted by noise and interference. This noise and interference definitely distorts the original signal that has to be transmitted fruitfully. Okay, so the signal has been transmitted with noise. How about the reception? The noise can be eliminated with a kind of filter, and also the weak signals can also be amplified with the help of an amplifier. These are the two elements that can be used for removing the noise and to amplify the signals. Why there is a need for amplification is, while removing the noise, the message signal or the original signal can also be get weakened. So as to cope up with that, the amplification is done to the received signal. The major challenge that is faced in the analog signal is, it is very difficult to extract the original signal without the distortion or without the noise. It is very difficult. Therefore, we are trying to get the digital signal fruitfully. So these are the major characteristics of analog signal. The final outcome of the analog signal is received with along with the noise and interferences. Next is the characteristics of digital signal. As analog signal, the digital signal is not measured continuously. This can be measured only at discrete intervals, whereas the information is typically in the form of zeros and ones. Since this does not occupy wide range, it is immune to noise also. It is robust to noise and can be easily manipulated and transmitted without any noise interference. Discrete values. All the digital signals possess two levels only. One is higher level and another one is lower level. Usually these levels are represented in the form of zeros and ones. And since this includes only two levels, it is easier for processing and also for transmission. Also, this is immune to noise. Therefore, it could able to produce a reliable transmission. Right? Okay. The next is limited frequency range. Unlike analog signal, the digital signal only has two levels. Therefore, it occupies a limited range of frequency as a series of pulses like zeros and ones. So this limited frequency range can also be expanded during the time of transmission through a technique called pulse amplitude modulation. As we know that all the digital signals are resistance to noise or less susceptible to noise. It is robust with noise because they use only a series of pulses or a very few levels, zeros and ones. Even sometimes if it is added with the noise, some original signal is added with the noise, the receiver could be able to determine the original signal or the actual signal. It clearly eliminates or clearly filters the noise or interference. Since these two are the important levels, either 0 and 1, the receiver could be able to discriminate the original signal based on the levels zeros and ones from the noise. Easily the noise will be reduced. So hope you have understood the characteristics of analog and digital signals and how the analog signal is easily affected by the noise over the transmission, whereas the digital signal, even though if the noise is added during transmission, the receiver could be able to discriminate between original signal and the noise signal because of the levels. That is, the digital signal always has only two levels, either high or low or zeros or ones. So this highly interesting, and also all the analog communication are followed in transmission side, and because of the transmission is done along with the noise, the receiver is properly designed so as to filter the noise signals for effective reception of the original signal. Hope you understood the session about analog and digital signal, students. Thank you. Myself, Vaniprabha, Associate Professor, EC Department, working in SNS College of Engineering. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.